Hey, it's Logan Christopher here with the Legendary Strength Podcast, and we're going to have a fun episode today. We're talking about hormones, specifically testosterone, and our guest on the call today is Ryan Magin. Thanks for joining us, Ryan.
Thanks a lot, Logan. Glad I could come hop on and teach some cool stuff.
Yeah. So we actually did an interview, I guess that was a few years back for the Superhuman Training teleseminar series, but for people who may not be familiar with you, can you give a bit of your background?
Of course. As far as like building muscle and like hormones and stuff, I'm just an avid weightlifter. I've done everything from like amateur level strongman to like dabbled in like powerlifting training. I've just really been interested in just the whole physical culture, I guess you could say. And but I got started. I'm actually a former professional BMX racer, and that kind of got me started into working out as far as I was always wanting to get better at my sport. So that just lit a fire, and I just became obsessed with all forms of training. And ever since, I've been lifting weights. I guess as far as stats, I have a close to a 500-pound deadlift. So I guess that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've been working on my deadlift again lately and getting back up there. 505 was my best. I'm right about at that level, and I plan to take it to 600.
Nice. Yeah, I had it. I'm at my personal best is 525, but I did that at like a body weight of like 240. So and right now I'm at like 200. So and I'm a lot leaner. So it's like my leverages are a little less there. So I gotta actually get stronger.
Yeah, it's not quite like the squat, but more muscle mass definitely does help with the deadlift as well.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of my background.
Yeah, excellent. So we're going to be talking about testosterone because you've written a new ebook, 101 Ways to Increase Testosterone Naturally. So I want to dive into some detail on this because this is anyone that's into strength training knows that, if your hormones are crap, you're not going to get anywhere as far as results. And not only that, your health won't be very good. You won't feel very good at all. A big part of, people in bodybuilding, obviously taking steroids and different things, but there's a whole bunch of natural things you can do to help to optimize your testosterone so that you get better results in the gym, you get better results in life, really. Yeah,
and that's kind of why most everybody, it's actually becoming quite the epidemic. I think the statistics are like 1 in 4 people, 1 in 4 males is suffering from low testosterone. And just like a walk to your local shopping mall, and just to find somebody that even looks like they lift weights nowadays is very, it's rare. So, just the stats alone should scare the crap out of people. Just take a look around and you see people that are just like fat, depressed, they're sick all the time, they're lazy. All these things like, people don't know that is 100% related to having low testosterone. And that was kind of why I decided to, I kind of just compiled the book because myself, I battled with my own hormones for years just because of, always trying to excel at bike racing and sports and just get stronger. I've dealt with, since I was like 17 years old, I have like mild gynecomastia, which is, nobody's heard of that or know what that is. It's basically like your nipples are kind of puffy, and they call it man boobs, and it'll really wreck your self-confidence if you don't know what the hell's going on. So going through like high school and stuff, I was always teased about that. So that's kind of, that, thank God I had, my sport to excel at and got me into weight training at an earlier age, so I was able to kind of combat those symptoms. But I've always, I went to a doctor, I want to say when I guess I was around like 19 or 20. And basically, he was like, "Oh, we gotta, we're gonna put you on creams." I'm like, and that seemed kind of like I was like, "Really? Like I'm 20 years old. Like what? So I was really like hesitant on that. And if anybody listening to this is like, older male, you've probably been told that you have to get on like androgel or something like that. And the only thing that I hated about that was basically like I'm on something for life. Like it's not something I can ever come off of. Once you start, it's like you're married to your doctor. It's like you have to. And that kind of scared the crap out of me. So I was like, I kind of, delved into just researching natural ways and things that just to boost your hormones naturally, things like through your diet, just types of optimal ways to train, and just really started working on it myself. And what I found was most all of it comes down to your diet and the food you're eating is about 90% of, why most people's hormones are screwed up. But and it opened my world. Like, there's tons and tons of stuff if you search on Google, about how to increase your testosterone, but everything led back to just people trying to sell you creams. So I was like, well, I want to do something about that and give some people, just a natural way, just like a bunch of resources, things they can do to, do it naturally.
Yeah. Well, before we dive into some of those things, for someone who maybe this is their first time ever really hearing much about testosterone, could you give like some of the effects? What's testosterone's role in the body?
Oh, I mean, it builds muscle. I mean, that's why we like it. I mean, testosterone builds muscle. It actually, it gives you energy, keeps you sane. I mean, keeps you clear-headed, so you're not like kind of foggy and depressed. It pretty much affects everybody. I mean, it makes you, it makes you sick. Just all different. It makes you just a horrible person, pretty much. If you're on low testosterone, you're just not a happy individual.
Yeah. And what about the difference between men and women? Because men obviously have more, but it's also an important hormone for women, just not in the same quantities as men.
Yeah, I mean, women. I mean, obviously, you don't hear too many women running around going, "Oh, I need to raise my testosterone." But even women, I mean, you should be worried about your hormones and keeping them in check, because I mean, one of the tips in the book is actually birth control lowers testosterone in women, and I mean, women will have a harder time losing body fat, energy, motivation, like just swing, and I mean, there's a lot of hormones, like things like birth control that women use that that they don't even know is affecting their testosterone levels. So I mean, naturally, women don't want to get muscular and huge. But even just to keep low levels of body fat, lean and tone, and looking good in your party dresses, like women should be worried about that, just making sure that their hormone levels are optimal.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said it was mostly diet that is going to affect your testosterone levels. Can you give some tips there, maybe on what people should add in as well as what to avoid? Because that is one of the main things. There's so many, and we'll probably get into more of this, the whole xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens, different supplies of it that then screws up our whole hormone balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things, and this is kind of, and whenever I get interviewed about this, like, people, before they really worry about anything, it's like, I mean, if you do decide to purchase my book, like whatever, it's 101 ways. It's very overwhelming. There's just a ton of things in there, and it's like I didn't want it to overwhelm people. It's just more like you start with basic things first, and the easiest thing to change right away is your diet. So naturally, if you're eating fast food, and you go to say eating 2 meals a day, healthy, foods that organic, throw in some vegetables, fruits, things like that, and then introduce things into your diet, into your daily habits gradually instead of just doing it all at once. Because that naturally, if you're eating fast food 3 meals a day, and then you just start eating healthy, your hormones are going to improve a lot. But I like to recommend people just start really just assess your lifestyle. Like, okay, how am I eating right now? Like, so what's my diet look like right now? What's my am I working out? Am I not working out? Am I using am I on any prescription meds, like things like that. So it's like the first step is just to kind of assess your lifestyle and go, how can I fit this in to start making positive changes? And the easiest, like I said, for most people is just to kind of clean up their diet and things like spinach and kale, like these superfoods, if you guys don't know the benefits of eating spinach and kale, they're amazing. They're amazing vegetables, and they do all kinds of things for your body. So just like introducing these good foods like organic meat, try to stay away from the pesticide-ridden freaking cheap Walmart meats, things like that. Start eating more. Most people don't actually even eat enough. Like, they're usually on calorie restricted diets, and this kind of comes back to the lifestyle thing. Obviously, if you're 40 years old and you're working 50 hours a week and you have 4 children and you're in a bad marriage and you guys are always fighting, I mean, these things wreak havoc on your testosterone levels. So it's like, and most people, when it comes to even thinking about testosterone, it comes down to they want to have they want to build muscle, they want to lose body fat, they want to look better. So like, the vanity aside, you're never going to achieve the body that you want if your hormones are fucked up. Like, there's just no way. It just doesn't work. It's going to be a never-ending battle. So it's like, if you're always working, if you're really stressed out, like, it's like you need to take that into account first and be like, okay, well, I need to chill out. I need to maybe take a day off work. Maybe I need that vacation I've been wanting to, just to kind of, relax a little bit and kind of calm your cortisol levels down and just chill out. Because all those things, like, directly affect your testosterone levels. And that's, like, things to start with first is lifestyle, and then diet, and then add in, like, the training, and then, like, the little, like, the xenoestrogen and things like that, like drinking out of glass bottles instead of plastic. Those things kind of come later. But the big thing is just to make sure you're eating properly and you're, assessing your lifestyle enough to where your hormones are functioning properly.
Mm-hmm.
So
the order is, first try to take care of your lifestyle, then look at your diet, which is obviously going to be a large part of the lifestyle as well. Then from there, optimize your training, and last of all, you can work on sort of the smaller things that can still make a big difference. Like you said, trying to avoid drinking or using things that have a bunch of plastic in them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I say, like, lifestyle, but most people, like, they're walking around and they're always stressed out. So, like, right there, like, if your cortisol levels are high, which is a stress hormone, then you're going to have naturally lower testosterone levels. So right off the bat, you're already losing. So it's like, okay, well, and it's like, how do you, well, I can't, like, I can't, I have to work 50 hours a week is what most people will say. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to work 50 hours a week and you're going to eat like shit, well, then you can't be, doing, a CrossFit style 7-day-a-week workout of the day and expect to see any, like, progress, because your hormones are just going to not know what to do. They're just going to freak out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and like, for me, like, myself, like, I was, when I started, like, really getting into this, like, I was overtrained. And if anybody that doesn't know what overtraining is, it means that you're working out too much. You're doing, and your body is like overcompensating for how much you're actually working out.
Mm-hmm.
So most people would actually benefit if you're a male listening to this call. You're working 50 hours a week. You're probably not sleeping 8 hours every night. You're probably going on minimal sleep. You're dealing with children. You're stressed. Like, probably would do better on, like, a 3-day-a-week workout routine and just get good healthy foods into them, at least like one meal a day, And these are just, like, baby steps,
Mm-hmm.
Like, make sure your dinner includes a big salad with lots of vegetables and, good organic meat, and just start there. Then it's like you can worry about, like, obviously if your hormones are wrecked because you're not sleeping enough and you're stressed, just drinking out of a glass bottle isn't going to do a damn thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only once you've taken care of the big things, then when you should focus on those smaller things.
Yeah, if your diet is good and your training is good and you still feel like, you're still not seeing, like, the gains you want, then it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to add in, like, a sleep mask because maybe I'm just not sleeping good enough. I'm not hitting that deep sleep for recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, well, so there's something you can add in. Just is the temperature in my room below 70 degrees? Because that's optimal for getting a proper night's sleep. Like, all these things affect, your testosterone levels. So it's like those things are just like you add in later after you've already kind of fixed everything.
Yeah. Now, there's one tip in your book when I was going over it, the whole sleeping naked, because the testicles, which are a large part of what produces the testosterone in the body, they need to have a lower temperature. So that was very interesting. I meant to do that last night because I usually don't sleep in a lot of clothes, but just boxers. But I was going to do away with those, but then I forgot. So I'll have to be sure to remember that tonight and try it out.
Yeah, definitely. I found some weird stuff. Like, I found a scientific study done by PubMed that stated that for males, if they watched exactly 4 minutes of porn before they worked out, they actually tested higher in their 3-rep max on their squat.
Really?
Just from watching 4 minutes of porn on their phone.
Was 5 too much, or is that just all they tested?
They just tested 4 minutes, and I don't know, like, I don't know why that was the magic number. I have no idea, but I was like, this. I thought it was really cool. I was like, this is like this weird fact that you can find, like, and I only found it because I was researching for this book, and I was like, that's funny. And then it was like, things like sleeping in the nude because you want your balls to breathe, and then try to refrain from tight-fitting underwear, which is like, I wear, like, Under Armour all the time, so I'm like, oh, man, I'm already wrecked, jeez,
yeah.
But, these things are just, like, tips, like, after you've already gotten the big stuff in check, then it's like, then you can kind of start fucking around with, like, is your underwear causing your testosterone to lower? Probably not. In most people, it's their life that's causing it.
Yeah, I remember I did an interview with Mike Mahler, who I know you're familiar with, quite some time ago, and he commented that at that time, that must have been a while ago, it was the election with McCain and Obama, and people that were rooting for McCain, once they found out he had lost, that actually reduced their testosterone level, just because life events like that are going to also affect this hormone. So it's very fascinating stuff how it can pretty easily go up and down like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it has it has a lot to do with like stress and like like what you have going on. Like I said, I keep going back to lifestyle, but it just plays such a huge role in like everything. I mean, most people are probably suffering from mild adrenal fatigue as well. Like I know because I was. You know, like I didn't know about all this, so I started like, well, what the hell is an adrenal? Like I have no idea. So it's like I just started like, and then I'm like a Google junkie. Like I just started Googling shit. Like, and I mean, I found some crazy stuff. Like just just tests and studies that people have done on hormones and like how it's like if you're a depressed person, there's a good chance your testosterone's low. If you have like if you're not sleeping enough or if you're always tired, your testosterone's low. Like it all kind of comes back to that. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse, with the, the amount of crap food that people eat and put in their body. I mean, it's just, it's like an epidemic. And I believe the statistics show that, like, it's getting lower. Normally males around the age of 30 start experiencing the drop in their testosterone levels. But now it's even lower. I mean, there's kids in their 20s and just coming out of college when you should be at, like, your peak that are dealing with low testosterone. And 100% has to do with, chemicals in our foods and the diet of, like, the modern teenager. I mean, all of this is just, it sucks. Like, it's like kids don't really even have that knowledge to even know how to combat it,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, have you done blood testing to see where your levels are at, like in the past or recently after doing a lot more of these things?
I haven't done the test recently. I mean, I did one a while back when I first went to the doctor, and I didn't even understand the numbers because I was I was 20 years old. So I was like, well, I don't even know what I'm looking at, So I was like, I need to go back and do it recently, but it's, I mean, just in the mirror and how you feel. I mean, kids working. So it's like, and I mean, the big thing for me was just structuring my diet. I've always struggled with I was always either crash dieting or bulking. Like there was never like a medium. And once I started, I got down into studying like macronutrient ratios, and I found like my ratio, and I just eat the same thing every single day in that ratio. Like then all of a sudden my hormones kind of started coming back to normal, and like I started building muscle, burning fat, like at levels that I never had before. And it all has to do obviously with diet.
Yeah, going back to the blood test, like you're saying, if you don't know those numbers, it's not going to really help you. And it's, a lot of doctors won't really take the time to explain what that means to you unless something is off the thing, in which they'll prescribe you drugs or artificial hormones or something like that. I got mine tested a while back. I need to do that as well. It's interesting with testosterone, if I remember correctly, it's actually quite a large reference range. From like 300 to over 700 is considered normal.
Yeah, you want to be between there, and it's like, well, what if I'm at 300? Technically, I'm low, but I'm not low. It's like I'm still average. It's like, but who wants to be average? I want to be high in testosterone. I want to be at the fucking top of the scale.
Right.
So I mean, and also, like you said, with the artificial hormones, it's like doctors aren't going to take the time to explain what's really going on. Like the doctor's not going to tell you, dude, you eat ice cream every night. Like stop. Or like you're not sleeping enough, or the marriage you're in with your, the wife that you can't stand anymore is what's lowering your testosterone levels. I mean, they're not going to do that because they want to prescribe, they want to do the Band-Aid, and the Band-Aid is creams and gels and pills, and like it's an easy, quick fix. And they know that, I don't know the prices of I'm sure it's probably a couple $100 a month, but you're going to be a couple $100 a month forever. Like, that's the best business model ever is just to prescribe somebody a testosterone cream.
Yeah, that's a thing with hormones. If you, get on something, it's really not easy to get off of testosterone, but also other things as well. And I've heard that many times as far as, thyroid medication. If you get on that, you kind of are stuck for life.
Yeah, and then it's like, then you have a second wife, and that's your doctor, and then you always have to battle the insurance companies, and it's like, and that's, it just sucks. Like, I mean, who wants to answer to a doctor about what they're doing, or like, rely on somebody to live a healthy life? Like, nobody wants that. Like, at least I don't want that. I don't think you do. I mean, I'm sure people listening to this call don't want that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I found interesting about your book is, that I do normally eat a number of the different foods you recommend, but it goes into some of the detail on how the different vitamins that you'll find in the food, how those actually play a role in testosterone, which makes sense. I just hadn't heard before that, vitamin C is important for testosterone, B6, potassium, magnesium, all the minerals as well, how important all these things are to making sure you have, one of the master hormones in your body. It makes a lot of sense. I just hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to really, I found a lot, it was eye-opening to, just do the research. So I kind of came up with the idea, and I was like, and it was more just, I just started browsing around, for my own curiosity, just Googling increased testosterone naturally, and then it's I started seeing a lot of the same stuff, but then you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's well, do I have a zinc deficiency, or am I not getting, enough vitamin C? It all kind of was just wow, this is cool stuff. I'm just, and then I was just, I had it all written out, and I was like, wow. So, and I really just wanted to create the whole point of it was just to, because all of it is out there. I mean, in the age we live in, you can find anything you want for free on the internet. But I was I just want to put it all in just an easy to read PDF that people just have on their hard drive and reference back to, whenever they needed it.
Yeah, it's quite simple stuff to actually put it in, but you did really. There's a lot of stuff there, a lot of different things to play with. I mean, I've been doing this stuff. I do a lot of it naturally, but like we said, you gave me some new ideas, some new things to play with. Those, I already got the whole foundation and base, but I'm always looking for those little things that can be added on top of that.
Yeah, and that's for most people. If you're new listening to this, definitely get your diet down. Learn, and that was huge for me. Is just learning how my body functions with eating the proper amount. I eat close to 3,000 calories a day, but it's because I'm super active. I'm a competitive cyclist, and I actually don't. I prefer to ride my bike everywhere. So it's I average 100 miles a week on my road bike. So I was doing that on top of doing cardio in the morning as well as my strength training in the afternoon. And my body just hated me. It wouldn't burn fat because it was always feeling overtrained. It was just holding on and conserving everything that it had. Mm-hmm. So once I actually stopped doing cardio, got my diet in check, and started working out less, doing just a basic 5-3-1, bench squat, deadlift, military press, 4-day-week routine, and then all of a sudden just weight started falling off. I'm about to see abs for the first time. I'm wow. And then all of a sudden, energy levels are through the roof, not feeling foggy, clear-headed. I was able to write the book, so it's all these things happen once you get your, your lifestyle kind of in check. Yeah. And so that was, just for me, it's I'm living, what I wrote about. So that's why I'm really passionate about just and people just getting the knowledge out there to people. It's you need to be worried about your testosterone levels because. And I put on my sales page, society's trying to strip you of your manhood, and it's true with the chemicals, pesticides, pills, medications, all that shit. Yeah, everything. So one thing we actually haven't really talked about, which is where a lot of people are going to want to jump to first, is the whole area of supplements. And there's definitely some supplements can help, but once again, it's the whole thing. You got to get that foundation first before you start adding these things in. Once you have that, that alone, if you're at a low testosterone level, I'd say you can probably easily double it through changes in lifestyle and diet and stress and all that, right? By far. The cool. Supplements are awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love creatine. And I wouldn't live without protein powder. Things like that. But you got to also have, like we were saying the whole time, is the basics have to be in line first. Obviously, if your testosterones are shit, then you're, adding a supplement is going to make them less shit. So you want to work on the shit that matters first, then add in I mean, there's some good stuff. It's like DAA is like a body.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk to you about that one because I was hearing about that for the first time from a bunch of different people, and you also had it in here. Can you go into a little more detail on that one?
Yeah, I found it. I mean, I found like just through research, like because I'm always just trying to find like test weird stuff and do like weird little experiments on myself, and that's kind of. I just stumbled across, I think it's like a bodybuilding.com thread. There were like a couple of people were talking about like DAA, and I was like, it's actually like a pretty potent supplement, and it's like it's very like unknown. Like you don't hear like something really saying, oh, you're gonna take DAA. Like I'm surprised it hasn't kind of blown up more than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I just ordered some bulk DAA powder online, and I just started, taking like I think it was like the minimum dose, which I forget what I try not to stay on it for too long, but I tested it when I was doing strongman competitions, and I definitely felt a huge difference. Like, I mean, you will wake up like raging,
yeah,
on the DAA. Like, and I mean, I told a couple of people just about it, and they said they felt amazing. And I'm like, and it was kind of crazy because it's like it's not really talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I just heard about it from a couple sources, then heard it from you, so that's something I'm going to experiment because I'm like you. I like to experiment with lots of different things. You got to find out what works, and what better way than to use your own body as the test lab.
Well, I mean, you combine there's things like tribulus and like those are known for was it horny goat weed? These things are like known for in testosterone, but nobody really talks about DAA. And I was like, every time I felt it, like. I hope it doesn't get banned soon by the FDA. Like, I feel like it's one of those supplements that's like you can only use it for a little bit, and then like the government's gonna come and say, nope, sorry, we're gonna make that into a prescription.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, yeah, it's cheap too. I mean, I in the book I tell people to order it from the NutriPlanet.com. I think it's like $12 for like a month's supply. Like,
yeah.
And there are companies that sell it. AS Research makes a really good one. They have their proprietary blend, which I have no idea what it is, but I know that's like a $70 bottle for like a 30-day supply. So, I mean, if you just buy your own DAA and added it in with like creatine and tribulus, you'd be doing all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine there's some research behind DAA as well. Did you come across that?
I found just there's all like the scientific jargon, like all like the different studies and stuff. But I mean, I'm like a realist. Like I like to just like. So I would go into the forums, and that's where I found it. Like bodybuilding.com is a huge forum,
right.
And just people would just list like their experiences with it. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, and it's like you get some. I mean, obviously, that's a very younger crowd in bodybuilding.com forums, so it's like you get like, I was like my girlfriend all the time, and it's like, well, you're 18 years old. It's gonna happen next.
Right.
But I wanted to find like normal people that were like just trying to not like a supplement claim or anything like that, because most of that, if you don't know, that's all bullshit anyways. But but I mean, it's just like, and you go on the forums, like, I mean, you could just search bodybuilding.com DAA. You're gonna find a ton of different things of people that have experimented with it, and it was all positive. I never saw any negative from it. So I was like, well, shoot, only one way to find out. And I ordered it myself, and I used it when I was competing in strongman. And then, I mean, I was deadlifting and lifting at some of my highest weights I've ever lifted at that point. Now, mind you, I was, at a heavier weight. Like, it's not all related to the DAA, but it does help recovery. It does help put on, lean muscle. Like, and it's just a supplement, as they call it. You still have to have your good stuff in line.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I tell everyone. I told my dad to take DAA. I'm like, Dad, fucking hop on it. So I recommend it to everybody.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, I think we give a pretty good overview of, some specific tips people can follow, as well as, the general idea of what to look at as far as increasing your testosterone. And although the focus is on testosterone, really this is the stuff that will help you be healthier, because testosterone is such an important part of health.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if you worry about one thing at a time, that's how, like, I like to learn. Like, I like to just, like, take a constant variable and just kind of start manipulating that variable. Like, testosterone, it's like, okay, so how do I increase my testosterone? Because you increase your testosterone, your estrogen levels are going to lower. Your adrenals are going to come back in line, and you're just going to naturally kind of get back that, your mojo and freaking energy. Your body's going to start working the way it's supposed to. and things just kind of come together.
Yeah. So where can people go to find some more information about you? Of course, I'll have the link to the book and some more information available on the website where people are listening to this podcast and everything. But you want to mention your other website or something?
Yeah, everything. I just have my blog, which is ryanmagin.com. Everything. I do a daily email newsletter. I know you do as well. That's really. If you want to join my list, I'd love to have you. But or you can just read. There's over, I think, 150 blog posts on my blog at ryanmagin.com, and you can get access to the testosterone book from there as well.
Excellent.
So.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ryan. This was a fun interview, and like I said, got some new things to play with based on this stuff. And so that's what I'm always looking for: new things to play with. It's more fun.
Awesome, man. Definitely, and you do some crazy stuff, man. I love watching it. The one thing I really like about your stuff is like the physical culture. Like you're not just like pretty. Like even though we all want to look pretty and do aesthetics and look awesome, but like the hand balancing, like stuff that you do and cover is just like it's eye-opening. It's just awesome. It's the whole physical culture, like the whole sport of fitness, and I always appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thank you. And as far as I'm concerned, looking pretty is a side benefit when you're going after other things, and it seemed to actually get greater results that way. So.
Yep, exactly. Well, yeah, man, thanks a lot for having me on. I hope your readers and peeps got a lot out of this. I hope I helped you out.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thanks everyone for listening.